children done call him or something. Maybe he was calling me back, but he called me back and he said, Daddy, he said, you busy? I said, no, sir. He said, I need a favor. So I said, what you need? You know, I'm always willing to help my kids, you know. And he said, I just need you to pray for me.
Amen. That's what he said.
Man,
That's what he said.
I was overwhelmed. You know,
Amen.
this thing hit me like a ton of bricks, and I ain't know whether to jump up and start shouting or start crying or, you know, how serious this thing was. But I got up out of bed. You know, I left my wife and kids over there, and I went over in that den, you know. And I just began to pray for him. And I prayed for him, I prayed for him, I prayed for him. I didn't ask him what was wrong, what he needed prayer for. You know, I just began to pray for him. And I asked the God, you know, I asked the Lord to just deliver him, just to save him. And after I got through praying for him, I heard him say, Amen. When he said that, I was through talking. You know, that's it for me. I done done what the Lord told me to do. And you know, I just thank the Lord that even that one seed that, you know, that was planted, I seen it come back to me. You know, if it wasn't but for prayer, at least he thinking about the Lord. You know, at least put it on somebody's heart to think about the Lord. You know, I noticed that now, you know, my mom, you know, she used to call me all the time and used to say some things. And I notice now when she going through something or just needs somebody to talk to, she calls me. And she talks, you know, she talking about the Lord. So I just know that by, you know, by leading by example, you know, just being an example of what God can really do in somebody's life that accept him and that's humble enough to let the Lord use them and work through them.
Amen.
And I just thank the Lord this morning
Amen.
for, you know, life, health, and strength for the things that he's doing right now. Even though it looked kind of dim in the ministry, the Lord got some better things ahead for us. But you got to know that real faith got to be tested. Somewhere along your Christian life, somewhere along your walk with Christ, somewhere something going to come up against you.
Amen.
And I was listening to Pastor Pickney one time, and he said we already win. Meaning that, you know, you might be going through something, but it's better to go through it with the Lord. You know, a lot of people run away from the church when they're going through something instead of running to the Lord. You know, if you knew that the Lord was on at 820 Crestwood and you stayed on the other side of town, if you know the Lord was over here again, I bless you, you'll come. If I told you we had free chicken, we can get people off the south side over here to eat chicken.
Amen.
But to serve the Lord, you know, to serve the Lord and get people to understand that, you know, if you leave him, you got to be right with Christ. You know, and you wonder about what happened to these people that, you know, that lived in the world, that did all this stuff, and they died, and you wonder whether they made it to heaven or hell. Well, if they wasn't saved, they didn't go. You know, in order to make it to heaven, you got to, you know, you got to work and you got to be saved. You got to actually go out and be a help to somebody else. And this morning, I'm just hoping that I can be a help to somebody else that's struggling, that's going through, that been through some of the things that I've been through, and just, you know, be a living testimony that God can change anybody. You know, but you first got to start with yourself. You got to examine yourself, and you got to constantly ask yourself, will God be pleased with what I'm doing? Will God be pleased with what I'm saying? Will God be pleased with what I'm eating? Will God be pleased with the things that I, you know, that I affiliate myself with? And so I was just thinking, you know, I see friends of mine a lot of times when I'm going to the gas station or something like that, that used to be all right with me, that used to, you know, run up and down the streets with me, but from a distance, they make it their business to speak.
From a distance.
From a distance. But what they really seeing is a glow on me. They could have walked past and not said nothing. They just went on about their business, but that little handshake and wave mean that something they see in me that I'm living or walking that's drawn, that got their attention. It might not be much, but the seed is being planted.
Amen.
You know, sooner or later somebody gonna say, hey, I want to go to church, you know, might be standing out there on the corner waiting on me make my daily path.
That's right.
Somebody might be out there waiting on the Lord.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
You know, and
right.
it's up to us to go out, you know, and win these souls. You know,
Yes,
we've
yes.
we've got a job to do. And looking
All
at
right,
the ministry,
all right.
I can tell that everybody's not working.
All right.
You know, people got to go out and we got to work. We got to go out there and we got to talk.